Hi, welcome to Inventors Dojo. My name is Henry and I'm an inventor. First and foremost, I would like to welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. As you may recall, in the last video, we talked about how I got my prototype made and the testing process, including the problems that I ran into while I was doing that. In my mind at the time, the best thing to do next was to try to secure a patent for my idea so I could move forward. Getting a patent is relatively cheap if you do it yourself. It is when you involve lawyers that it gets very expensive. Prior to this experience, I did have some experiences with trying to get some patents, and I worked with different lawyers. What happens is that in the beginning of the process, they do something that's called a patent search. And I'm not sure if that's standard across the board for all lawyers in all places, but that's what it's called. It makes sense that it would be standard. And what they do is that they run a search versus the US Patent Office to see if somebody else has patented that idea or something similar. And also gives them an idea what or how to proceed with your idea. What happens is that in this case, it gets expensive. Just to do a quick search in the past, it had cost me somewhere between $1,800 to $2,000. So it gets very expensive. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't necessarily go that route, but I didn't know it back then. Onto what happened. I knew that I needed to get a patent attorney involved in this process. But based on my experience with the people that I had worked with in the past, they were just expensive and never really yielded any good results for me. So I wanted to try someone new. I had an acquaintance who had just previously gone through that process. So I asked him for the contact information for his patent attorney. He was quick to give me the information, so I called the guy immediately. When I spoke with them, he said that he was no longer taking cases because he was about to retire. And that was a bummer. But he did recommend a colleague of his, and I figured, sure, why not? So I called the guy, and after explaining everything that was happening and what I needed done, he told me that it was going to cost somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000. I don't know about you, but I don't have $30,000 just sitting around waiting for me to have an idea. Ideally, I would, but I just don't. So when I spoke with them, I told them that I would get back to them as soon as I got the money together. And who knows how long that would have taken me, but then something weird happened. He liked the invention so much that he actually offered to do all the filing and all that good stuff for free. Well, not for free. In exchange, he wanted a percentage ownership of the patent itself. I should mention at this time that this lawyer is a top shelf guy. It's not some guy in some strip mall or something like that. This guy's the real deal. He knows what he's doing and he's been doing it for a long time. Regardless, it was something that I really needed to think about because in reality, I didn't know what I was giving up by giving away a percentage of the ownership of the patent. But also I didn't know how long it was going to take me to get $30,000 together. But the reality is that nobody else was standing in line waiting to help me. Nobody believed in it but me and apparently this attorney. So I took the deal. Once we signed all the paperwork, I did some very basic drawings for the patent and all that good stuff. And it got filed. It was done. Eventually, I got my patent. I should mention that if you recall, when I first started talking about the idea, that my brother helped me figure this out. So I made sure that he is part owner of that patent as well. So there's actually 3 owners on that. And it's my brother, the attorney, and myself. I think it's the right thing to do. It's the fair thing to do. And, you know, everybody wins. There are some questions that will arise. So I'm going to try to address them as best as I possibly can. Question number 1. Could I have done this patent myself? Could I file the whole thing myself? It would have been a lot cheaper and all that good stuff. The short answer is yes. But in reality, personally, I get flustered when I start looking at all that legal language. And I'm always very weary about putting the wrong word here or there. And in reality, I don't trust myself with that process. So if the lawyer hadn't made that offer, I probably would have tried to do it myself, but I'm happy with the way everything happened with him. Number 2, do I even need a patent? I've heard some people say that you don't need it, that you could just start contacting people and say, hey, I have this idea, do you want to do it? I don't have enough experience to say that that would work. And in reality, I just don't feel safe that way. But that's probably because I do have the patent. If I didn't have it, I would be very, very cautious about who I would share my idea with, because there's just no guarantee whatsoever. At least with the patent, I have something to stand on. Number 3, what about a provisional patent? If you don't know what a provisional patent is, it's pretty much just a temporary patent that lasts a year and is very cheap to do, very easy to do. And that's what allows you to put patent pending on some on certain ideas and technology and things like that. So yeah, that would have been an option if I had known about it. I just did not know about it at the time. Would I do things the same way knowing what I know now with the attorney? And the answer is absolutely. This guy has been amazing. There is a certain level of safety that I feel when, if I have any problems whatsoever when it comes to the patent or anything like that, I can call him and he handles it. He is invested in my success. So yeah, I would definitely do it. So if that is an option for you, even if the attorney doesn't offer it, ask him. You lose nothing by trying. As I said before, talk, and keep on talking. Eventually, somebody will listen. But that's it for today. I know that one last question that's gonna arise, and it's what percentage I gave the attorney. Given the situation in which I was in, which I didn't have the money, I didn't have anybody willing to help me, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it myself, what percentage would you be willing to give up to get your patent done the right way? But that's it for today. Please stay tuned for the next video where I will be detailing the next step that I took on this crazy little journey. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please share this video with someone who you feel might find it interesting. Thank you so much and have a great day. Stopping video. Oh, this is not recording. Ah, you mother. And this is gonna suck if I have to redo this whole